The past 2 years I've, 57, noticed a number of worrying changes with my daughter, 23, she has gained about 150 pounds and has completely changed as a person. I've tried to phrase things as, is everything okay? You don't seem to be like yourself. If you need help with something I will do my best, maybe we can speak to a therapist and get an appointment for you. She will become hostile and accuse me of not caring about her at all and criticizing her when I am not. I've always told her she can tell me anything because I'll always love her. I've tried to cook her healthy meals and give them to her at her apartment, but she rejected it and threw all the food on the floor. It really hurt my feelings, but I didn't say anything, I just had to step out into the hall and cry. 2 days ago I brought up her weight gain, I said, I am really worried about you. You've changed completely as a person and I really want to help. Maybe we can go to a therapist and dietitian, you've gained so much weight I'm really concerned for your health. I know something is wrong, I can tell you're struggling with something. I love you and I think we need to deal with this. She started screaming at me and then stormed off after she started sending me all these blog posts and articles about being fat doesn't mean you're unhealthy. I told her that any bodily extreme is unhealthy, someone who is emaciated is unhealthy, someone who takes steroids to have a massive number of muscles is unhealthy. I sent her a few actual medical studies that showed this and said, it isn't just the weight I'm concerned about, I know something is wrong, please just let me help. She posted something about our conversation online along with my phone number. I keep getting calls and texts calling me abusive from people I don't even know. I called her and that's when she told me about the post and said, I'm done with the gaslighting and you telling me I need to speak to a therapist and that I'm not healthy. You're a terrible father. I hate you, I hate everything about you. You are a failure as a man and as a dad. She went on for a long time with things like that, I just kind of sat through her yelling at me, I was so hurt I didn't even know what to say. I said, I love you and I will always love you, and she told me that she never loved me and that she doesn't want to speak to me again. This is where I lost my cool a bit, I should have only showed compassion and understanding, because I know this has something to do with mental illness. I said, I'm sorry, I'm doing my best. You don't need to be hurtful, you don't need to act like a fat jerk. You can't say you're fine when you have a hard time even walking. She hung up on me, and I keep getting all these calls and texts from strangers telling me I'm terrible. I'm just very upset, I don't know what to do or how to help. I feel like I've failed as a father because my daughter now openly hates me. Not the idiot. 150 pounds is extreme weight gain. Whatever info daughter has found on weight and health, that much excess is terribly unhealthy. Don't think daughter is being an idiot either, more that she is going through some struggle she is unable to talk about with her dad and is choosing the path of dumping him out of her life. Dad, it's obvious you care deeply about your daughter's health and well-being, but she's not in a place to accept your help now, so you need to back off and let her make her own adult decisions. Stop engaging with her on the subject. Don't participate in the public piece of the spat and definitely don't clap back at your hateful texters and callers, except to say that you love your daughter unconditionally. Tell her that too, that you love her unconditionally, and if she ever wants to talk, you're there for her and you won't mention her weight or mental health again unless she specifically invites the discussion. Everyone sucks here. Speaking as someone who used to weigh 400 pounds, your daughter is completely aware of how much she weighs and of what condition she is in. She may be in denial in public, but deep down, she knows. You can't force her to start losing weight. This has to come from her, otherwise, it isn't going to work. My mother told me once that she would help me, then let it sit until I was ready. I know you care for her and only want what is best for her, but keeping mentioning it to her is going to just cause her to dig in her heels and not want to change. On the other hand, her putting your phone number online is completely out of line and utterly immature. You're the idiot. Fat people know they're fat. She's obviously going through something, but for reasons that are her own, you're not the one she wants to talk to about it. She sounds like she had some sort of trauma and needs love and therapy, not a lecture about her body. My sister-in-law, Ashley, is, for lack of a nicer word, obnoxious. She constantly does whatever she wants, even when you ask her not to. She thinks she's right above everyone else, even when she's dead wrong. And she's just got this very stereotypical baby sister attitude, where she acts like she can do whatever she wants, and nobody is allowed to be mad at her because she's baby. Yes, that's something she regularly says. My husband says she's the youngest of their family, so her acting that way is normal. But I pointed out I'm the youngest of my family and I've never acted that way. I don't like sister-in-law, but I've been polite and kept a peaceful relationship for my husband's sake. Until today. Today was the first time since 2019 that my husband or I have been able to see our small friend group in person. We all got our shots 2 months ago and decided to meet up finally for dinner. I cooked while our friends either pitched in ingredients, made appetizers, or brought wine. I made pasta ravioli by hand, which was hard. I made enough for me, Hubs, and our friends. But after they arrived and we all caught up while I was finishing the food, sister-in-law showed up. She let herself in and greeted everyone happily. They know her and said hi, but I subtly asked Hubs what she was doing here. Turns out he mentioned the gathering to her and he guessed she assumed she was invited. I told him to tell her to leave because she can't just invite herself like this. He said that would be humiliating for her and asked if she could stay. I was annoyed but agreed. Things were fine at the start. I had a few sips of wine to relax and was about to plate everyone's food at the kitchen island and bring it to them, but forgot Parmesan, so went to get it. I heard sister-in-law say she'd help bring the food to the table. I said no thanks and to stay seated. My back was to her and she said something I missed because of the loud clang of a pot hitting the floor. I heard everyone gasp and I closed my eyes. I knew what happened but didn't want to look. When I did, I just started crying. Hours of work splattered on the floor. Sister-in-law said, "It was okay, it was just some pasta, I'll buy more." I lost it. I called her a stupid idiot that ruined the entire dinner because she refuses to listen. She started boo-hooing and I told her to shut up and leave. She ran out crying and I sat down to cry too. Our friends consoled me and Hubs tried to say I went too far, but our friends told him he was an idiot and sister-in-law was in the wrong. They helped clean and we ordered pizza. But after they left, Hubs and I were flooded with calls from his family saying I was a horrible spoiled brat who made their baby cry over some stupid food. Now I'm just crying and feeling like garbage. Did I go too far? I don't usually get so angry or curse. Am I the idiot? You're the idiot, but a justified idiot. From her perspective and her brother's, your husband's, you went nuclear. She's highly entitled and been brought up this way, you can't change her. And from your story, her family still continues to encourage her. Maybe she's clumsy, maybe she spilled it on purpose, but either way, you're not going to unspoil the food. This may not be your hill to die on, but if she glamours in being the baby, play along. Oh no, no wine for you, you're still baby. No, thanks, I don't need help, this is a big girl thing, maybe when you're bigger. Sorry, this dinner is for grown-ups and your baby. I'm incredibly petty though. Not the idiot. Honestly, I know different people would have different opinions on this, and I'm not sure if you would value my opinion cause I'm only 15. But I figured that I would still say it from an outsider's perspective. Your sister-in-law seems super spoiled, entitled, and greedy. You were just trying to make a nice meal for your invited guests, and she shouldn't have shown up like that. She should also be more careful with your house and your stuff, to be honest. Like, those clumsy stuff shouldn't really happen, especially when you aren't invited. I'm so sorry girl, I hope you feel better. Bad enough she invited herself, but didn't listen to the homeowner when directed to stay the hell out of the kitchen. You don't just insist on helping when told no. In case anyone here didn't know, if someone declines your help, it means they do not want you in their way, and that's the nicest way they can say it. I don't care if it was frozen ravioli. I'd be pissed. Like, this brat is seriously going to come up in someone's house and trash the whole dinner. No, she doesn't get to cry. Apologize and get the hell out. I have a friend, 25, we'll call her Beth. She and I met through mutual friends and are a part of the same group of friends. Beth and I, 25, get along okay. Our friends really adore her and she's usually the life of the party, as she claims. I have no issues with Beth, well before this happened anyway. Beth is a chatterbox. She loves talking about her hobbies and interests, and that's fine, except that she has way too many hobbies. I'm talking reading, going to the gym, video games, gardening and collecting plants, Marvel movies and comics, poetry, wine, food tasting, and God, so much more. each hobby, she goes on and nobody interrupts her. I was starting to get sick of her not giving us a chance to talk, and I felt like everyone else was too afraid to speak up. So, a few days ago, we were all out for lunch when Beth decided it was time for her to talk about some new chapter she bought in The Sims. I knew this was gonna be at least a whole hour of her being a non-stop chatterbox, so I cut her off and told her to stop talking about her hobbies so much, and if not, then at least cut down her hobbies. She looked offended and asked me what I meant. I told her she has way too many hobbies and to talk about something meaningful and actually interesting to the group. She looked really sad and got up and left. Most of our friends followed after her, while the remaining ones berated me for being an idiot. Apparently I was the only one who had an issue with Beth and her hobbies, and I didn't need to assume that everyone else was feeling the same way as me. I feel a bit bad, but someone had to say it and I accepted the role of the bad guy. Am I the idiot? Non-biased opinions please. You're the idiot. Are you seriously questioning if you're the idiot? You accept the role of the bad guy as if this was some great sacrifice. You said it yourself that your friends adore her, so why on earth would you think that you're the martyr for saying that to her? Is she cutting people off and making sure she's the only one talking? Like, maybe that's somewhat justifiable, but even that seems like a stretch. But from your description, it seems like everyone else but you enjoys listening to her. You sound incredibly jealous of her. Maybe she's just more of an interesting person than you. You are the idiot, so much that it would almost be funny if you weren't so bloody rude. Someone had to say it. No. Actually, nobody did have to say it. In fact, from what you've told us, not only did no one have to say it, no one even wanted to say it. They didn't even want you to say it. No one was even thinking it except you. You could not have misread the situation more. And I accepted the role of the bad guy. No. You didn't accept it because no one offered it to you. Again, literally, no one agreed with you. You were the only person who felt this way. You are 100% the idiot here. Everyone else seems to think that Beth is just a normal, well-rounded person with a variety of cool pastimes and interests. You are the one and only person who had a problem with her, and you were incredibly rude about it. You can't fault someone for enjoying things. And if you wanted to ask her to leave room for others to talk, there are nicer ways to say that. And also, the public isn't the place to say that. And also, if you're not close to her, that's not your place. You can talk to someone who's closer to her to voice your concern. My father, 49, and I, 23, don't have the best relationship, but it has gotten notably worse since he and my mother, 49, got divorced in September last year. My mom and I are extremely close and live 45 minutes from each other. My dad lives in a different state than us. My mom only moved to my state after the divorce because she couldn't continue to afford to live in the state she was in, though she loved it there. The divorce uprooted her life, literally. Context is important, so let me give you the basics. My mother and father were high school sweethearts and were about to hit their 28th anniversary last year. My father, however, had a problem with staying faithful to my mom. He was a military man, and my dad always had multiple relationships outside of the marriage. This has resulted in my mom contracting multiple STDs over the years. My mom kept catching him, but my dad would gaslight her into thinking she was not good enough, and that was why he would step out of the marriage. Fast forward to last year. My mom caught my dad with an escort and decided to pack her bags and take some space from him and went to stay at a friend's house. On mom's birthday he asked her for a divorce. He pushed getting it finalized as quickly as possible, and it was finalized within 59 days. A week after the divorce was finalized, my dad moved Alice into their house. He admitted to my mom that he and Alice had gotten together before he brought up divorce and had been a thing for a time. Alice is between the ages of 30 and 39, but we are not sure what her age actually is because my dad keeps changing it when asked. I've never spoken to or met her. My dad asked me my opinion on marrying Alice, and I told him that was his choice, but that I thought it was too fast. My dad did not know I knew about him cheating. I figured it out on my own, and it was later confirmed. My mom has not moved on and is still struggling with the trauma of the divorce. Tonight, I told my dad that I did not want Alice at my graduation in May or wedding in September because my mom would be there. I told him it was less than a year since the divorce and that I knew how, more specifically when, his relationship with Alice actually started, and if he did not want to attend due to my decision, that was his choice, but I made up my mind. My dad told me it's not fair I'm excluding people that are part of his life, and that it was not my choice, and that he was trying to be open and honest with his intentions. Am I the idiot for not wanting Alice present at these events? Not the idiot at all. I hope you stick to your guns in regards to keeping the mistress from major life events, but expect fallout from the decision as your dad seems used to getting his way. I'd disinvite dad too, I wouldn't be forgiving his abhorrent treatment of my mum, it's selfish abusive horrible behavior. I'd be saying his side piece will never be welcome in my life, and he is only if he accepts that, and he is respectful of this boundary and my mother in the future. I don't know how you even look at him without showing disgust. Alice may be part of his life, but she isn't part of yours, and your celebratory events are not the right time to meet her. Maybe suggest you meet her for a low-pressure coffee as a start, but only if you want to. You don't have to. It is absolutely horrible the way he treated your mother, and I feel terrible for her. And as far as your dad whining about how it's unfair to exclude people who are a part of his life, your mother was once a part of his life. He had no problem excluding her with his actions. Not the idiot. And it's a shame that your dad is too selfish to realize on his own that you would not want one of his many mistresses at your life events. That he tried to push back when you told him indicates that this will not be easily conceded by him. I hope you, your mom, and your other guests will enjoy your graduation and wedding without him behaving badly. My sister-in-law has never liked me. She had always tried to one-up me. We were both pregnant at the same time. Her due date was 6 days after mine, but a girl came early, so she gave birth roughly 2 weeks before me. We had already announced our name because mother-in-law wanted to make a blanket with baby's name in it. Sister-in-law said their name was a secret. Well, turns out they named their daughter the name we chose and announced. She thought she had won, and I decided it wasn't worth arguing with her. I gave birth and we simply went ahead with our name choice. It's a generic name like Sarah or Anna, but it was also my mum's name, which is why we chose it. So, technically sister-in-law could have planned for this name all along, but I doubt it. Well, she's not happy at all that the two cousins now share a name. I told her tough luck, and why did she think we'd change our name? Not the idiot. If she really cared that much, she shouldn't have named her kid that name. We have 4 Katies in my family. My sister is Katie, actually Caitlin, but we always have called her Katie. My stepdad's little sister is Katie, my stepbrother's wife is Katie, and my uncle's girlfriend is Katie. If we can manage all 4 Katies without anyone getting pissy, she can get over it. Not the idiot. Also this, my child's unique name, thing is very much a creation of the millennium. It was very common to have cousins with the same name 50 years ago because everyone was honoring grandma and grandpa. She already knew about the name, and instead of talking about it with you, she thought she got you. How petty and stupid this is. Why would she use her daughter as a pawn in her games? Childish. Exactly. I find it highly concerning how the sister-in-law is essentially using her daughter to try to one-up OP. Her thought process for naming her daughter was, haha, this will upset OP so much, no actual care put into the naming process.